Arganissima, New York. Your exotic skin, hair, and beauty source, and your one-stop shop for all your natural and organic skin and hair care, featuring authentic organic Moroccan oil and prickly pear seed oil and much more. Bringing you only the best, straight from the source and proudly produced in the USA. So what are you waiting for? Shop today. Arganissima, New York. Your beauty is our duty.
Folks, welcome back to the iHealth channel, iHealth Radio, the Nutritious channel, with your host, Hurricane H. Today, as you hear, Nutritious, Nutrition, I have with me someone that's going to take us on a journey about eating properly. And I'm not talking about just the nutrition and diet, but different things, about the food and how we do things. He is the CEO of a brand that actually provides nutrients and good stuff, for people, especially women and prenatal stuff, and we'll talk about that. I don't want to say much about it, and I'll have to have him tell us about it. So I have with me Daniel Laudon. He is the CEO of Nature's Warehouse. You probably heard the brand, heard of it, and so we have him today to talk about the story behind why it got created and what they do to help people. And I know they do a lot out there. So first things first, Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure, man. It's exciting because the topic of nutrition is key to any health, concept. I don't care if it's your mental or physical, especially physical. Eating well, eating healthy, eating the right stuff is important. And we live in a world that there's a big challenge, right? I mean, we don't eat farm food as much as we can, and most of us probably don't. Some people are luckier than others. Even when you go to the markets and buy food, I mean, a lot of it is frozen. A lot of it is, there's pesticides and insecticides, all different chemical stuff and agents that are part of it. It's not as natural. And then you have the other discussion about the I would say the organic, and we can talk about what that is, because there is always the debate, like, is it really that organic? And stuff like that. So
Sure.
Maybe you can enlighten us about all those things. And but really your story, like, how did Daniel, start into this journey of nature, Nature's Warehouse, basically, the idea behind it.
Sure.
That's a lot.
Yeah. You broached a lot of great topics there and a lot of good conversations. And yeah, so Nature's Warehouse, I did not start Nature's Warehouse. My parents did. So it's been in the family now for getting close to 30 years. It was kind of my mom's baby with the help of some of my younger siblings. When she had 7 kids, all home births, she lived it. Like, this was her life. And when we got older, she kind of was, I think, bored. And people had seen her life and seeing how it was working, and we weren't going to the doctor all the time. They started showing up on the back porch, and she started selling herbs off the back porch. And I have a younger brother who's kind of he is a business. He's just kind of like a business guru, right? And he said, "Mom, we could be making money off these people on the back porch." So they started selling herbs, and then he said we were upstate New York, small town right below Canada. There was not a lot of people in that area. And he said, if we made a catalog, we could make this. People want this stuff. He's seen it, right? He was young. And so he helped my parents. He was very involved. I have a younger sister. I was the oldest. I was gone from home by this time. I was a project engineer in a construction company. Together, they started Nature's Warehouse. I'd go home. I helped them build their first warehouse, and it went from there. My brother he's still in it, but he owns the manufacturing. My parents, when they wanted to retire, he took the manufacturing and I took the retail side along with another brother. So, and there's 2 sisters that are still in the company that work with us. So
it's a family affair.
It's a family affair. Yep. 70 to 100, it varies, 70 to 100 employees across, I don't know, 5 or 6 states now.
Well, that's beautiful. Just listen to your story. It's really heartwarming. I mean, the idea behind it, and like it's, and when you said upstate New York and just south of the border of Canada. Now I can tell you, I lived actually in Niagara Falls, the U.S. side. So I'm sure I driven somewhere close to you.
North of Syracuse. We were straight up from Syracuse there.
Oh, Syracuse. There you go. I had to go across. One thing about Syracuse, I have to say, in the winter, it's weird. Like you'll be like, there is no snow here, there's no snow here, and then Syracuse has snow. I don't know. It's just a unique piece about it, but it's beautiful in the spring and beyond, and it's just nice greenage and
it is
beautiful.
3 months of the year.
Well, listen, you take what you get, right? but it's pure nature. I mean, really, it's beautiful there. So I am familiar with the area, and it's very nice. And the idea that your parents, your mom specifically, was just selling herbs right off the porch, and again, this is taking us back to the real, like back in the days. That's how it went. I mean, you went to get fresh stuff from the source, from the farm, and you get your stuff, or you go to a farmer's market, whatever. Before the industrialization of all this. And it just became bigger and bigger. And then, we just mixed ingredients and let's come up with flavor and colors and stuff. And we have the new food that we have. I mean, it is a fact that 100 years ago, I think 75% to 80% of the food we have today did not exist then. I mean, I heard that and it just was like, something that hits you hard, right? Yeah. Is that even a fact?
Oh, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah. And I think that the food really went down, and herbs are food. Now, a lot of the herbs that we sell are not American herbs. So we were starting to source them from everywhere, but food itself, herbs is food, but food itself was even hijacked by modernization, by big factories, the devaluation of the dollar, up to the mid 70s. We were all about making things better, right? Mm-hmm. They invented the car. They wanted to make it better. And then all of a sudden, now we're trying to make it cheaper. Somewhere in the 70s is when that switch and the factory started growing and importing started really happening and all that type of thing. And the dollar became more important than quality. There was a switch somewhere in that time. And I think that's when food started going downhill, really. That's when the fillers started happening. When I say fillers, I'm talking about take a chicken nugget and look how much chicken's actually in there and how much breading's on that. And then the quality of the breading started dropping, and it was more geared towards flavor and all the different things, and not about health. And that is what we battle with today. That's the ongoing pandemic in America. I
think it's worldwide. I think it's not just in America. I think we're worse than other places, because even it's funny. I was looking at a post yesterday, I think, and just to look at the difference between same food, same companies, that literally ingredients in the US versus ingredients in Europe, for example. And there's a whole list of ingredients that are banned and not actually included in the same product when you buy it somewhere else. That in itself is like, why? And that somebody actually, I think one of the dietitian that actually posted this, she clearly asked the question, why is it that we are having the same brand, same product, yet we use these ingredients, yet they use different ingredients or healthier ingredients? And that's one. We talk about, like I've had this discussion before about kids in schools and what they eat versus, for example, in other places and what they eat. We used to claim that, we're the best nation in the world, but that's a big question today for a lot of reasons. And frankly, the food area is yes, it's diversified. You can have anything under the sun. It tastes good. A lot of sugar. That's another thing that we can talk about. Sugar is like sugar galore and everything.
You might not want to get me started on that one.
Well, listen, it is the topic of the hour. We're talking about, good health, good food, good nutrition. And, obviously, we'll dive into the products that you guys are producing. But the idea is, in general, it's nature, right? we are supposed to be eating from nature, but we don't eat from nature anymore. We're, to your point, the word hijack is pretty good, here, in this idea that, it's been hijacked from the real nature into like a manufactured nature, or whatever you want to call it that way. And I think that's what's happening. And it's not the same. A lot of things are being taken away from the real potent stuff that you're supposed to get, right? Like you just said, in breads, it's really enriched, flour, but it's nothing in it in terms of the good stuff that you need for your body. And there's a lot of debates. I've had multiple nutritionists and dietitians, and we've talked about stuff, and it is always a huge. I do have a channel just for that, and there's I exchange a lot of posts and things like that, and ideas. But the problem is that we have changed the way we do things, and even health wise, we notice that it's amazing how it's all parallel, right? As our food is changing, our health is getting worse across the board. And we have diabetes, we have obesity, we have other cancers, and so on and so forth. These are like becoming part of. But when you compare the timing, like everything is happening almost at the same equal movement here, and that shows that there is like a trigger point where these things have increased more because some things have changed. And the people that are probably still living the healthier life the traditional way and eating a much healthier spread and natural spread, they'll get in, they maintain better, and they have less complications, period. And out. So that's the dilemma today. And you and I, we were having just a brief discussion about today's generation. I think is going to get it worse. I don't know if you have any kids that are in the teenage days, but I do, and I can tell you, even my older one, who's 26, they are almost similar in the way they eat. He's gotten better a little bit, but they just have a limited menu. Literally, like it's I cannot get over it. Like we go anywhere, it doesn't matter. Is it a fancy restaurant or not? They'll ask for the same thing. It doesn't matter. Do you have nuggets? You mentioned nuggets. To your point, there's no nuggets there. And it's the pizza, it's the pasta, it's the mac and cheese, the burgers. And a lot of this stuff is fast food. It's not really the good stuff for you. Yeah. Like my son, me and him, we have fights all the time for food. Why? Because he doesn't eat anything, to me, that's healthy. There is no vegetables, there's no fruits in his diet. Zero. If he doesn't get some extra vitamins on the side, like to at least complement, he doesn't have any of that. And you can't possibly expect your health to be solid. You're a teenager, you're not going to feel it now. You're in the 20s, things are going to shift. In the 30s, if you're maintaining this path, your health is not going to be solid. Your body is not going to be solid to maintain for you. It's like I love what you said about we wanted to build everything good and better and stronger, right? And we're not, right? Because it's cheaper stuff. And same thing, our bodies now are not anymore stronger and healthier and stuff. They actually really built on nothing, fluff. And so you're going to have issues.
I agree. 100%. Yep. I believe that what you said, what we're dealing with. So I think that in the 70s, food was hijacked by money. Everything was production, cheaper, make it last longer shelf lives and everything. And then I think in the last 10 to 15 years, there's been a little shift. This is my personal opinion, right? Now we're going to go into a little bit of conspiracy theory. But I think that you've heard the phrase, you are what you eat. And the government knows that better than we do. And they are feeding us stuff that makes us dependent on the medical system. That's my belief. Like we entered a phase because if you are dependent on the pharmaceutical, the hospitals, if you're dependent on that, you are dependent, because that stuff's controlled and way more than we realize. And I think if anybody questioned it, we saw during COVID how much interconnected the government and the medical systems are, right? So you all of a sudden realize that how dependent you are on the government and our healthcare, where the money comes from, all that stuff is stuff that's in politics all the time. Why? Because we need it, because we're eating diets that force us to depend on it. That's my belief. And if you want to get off that little circle that's been that that is working out really well for everybody involved. And I have actually I told you before I'm writing a book, and I'm writing a book on this topic. And I actually did a little diagram where it shows it starts with young childhood vaccines. Starts at the top. I believe cause health issues down the road, but creates billions of dollars. Every vaccine company keeps officials in politics. You can check it out. Don't take my word for it. And then then they sell the treatments for the symptoms in the bottom, which brings in billions more dollars, and that money is returned to politicians to keep the chain going, that circle going. That's just a clean circle that's been going on for at least 30 years. And I think it's I'm trying to think which one of the top, Moderna. I think it's Moderna. Doesn't matter we say, it's the one side or the other, like it's Democrats, Republicans. It's not. They put $1 billion in politics every year. $1 billion in politics every year. That's going to whoever's in power so that they have a voice. So this is not one side or the other. This is us, the people, that are being used by the government, and we're just cogs in this wheel, right? And so how do you break free? That's my passion. That's what I try to help people with every day. How do you break free? And you started right out there. You got this thing going right. It's your diet, and then when you do have illnesses and stuff, instead of calling, we as a people in America, when we're sick, let's just say you wake up in the morning, one of your kids walk down, and they say to you, "My chest is heavy. I'm not feeling good. My chest is heavy." What are you going to do?
Take him to the doctor.
You're going to call the doctor, tell him what's going on, and ask him what to do. Ask the doctor if you should go see the doctor. Okay? That's what we do in America. We ask the doctor if we should. That's how we think. That's how we think in America. Listen, I don't want anybody to not call the doctor. You wake up tomorrow morning, your kids say, call. That's not what I'm here to talk about, right? But I am going to tell you that my mom had 7 kids. I was the oldest. She never called the doctor, right? There was one time there was a broken bone, and one of us blew up something and put it in our finger, and it had to go in and medically removed. Other than that, it was all home treatments. It can be done. At least she always felt responsible for our health. She didn't feel the doctor was. So if she was going to take us to the doctor, she went through this whole thing of trying to decide, is it something that she could just treat with herbs or with diet or something, maybe just an allergic reaction to this. Now, I'm not saying, like, I don't want anybody to listen to me talk, and because you got to understand, my mom was reading books. She had people she called up. She had Dr. Christopher was who she back then. This was 40 years ago. His son now runs his university and teaches health, but she used to have him on speed dial, right? She had connections, and you wouldn't want to do this stuff, but to her, it was so important. And honestly, what's more important than your health?
Health is everything, man. And well, first of all, I appreciate you said this is your opinion, but the fact is, probably a lot of people share the same opinion. It's just that it's difficult to talk about it because people don't want to, get into, to your point, the controversial part of it or the discussion, or get censored and so on and so forth. Right. So people just, they do their own thing.
Right.
But it is a very difficult topic in a way because, to your point, listen, by the way, it's not just the pharma, it's industries in general. They all have money involved. When you talk about government, it's humans. At the end of the day, we are humans. And these are all individuals. Money still talks, bullshit walks, as they say, right? Money leads, drives, and everything. So you could literally, and it's not that you're buying people, you actually invest in, and you're getting back, policy and so on and so forth, which is how the world works today.
How the world works.
Unfortunately, that's just how it is. It's reality. And it's a circle, and you are subjected to it in a way or another, whether you like it or not. What to do about it is really you have to do your own research and your own work, and you just kind of like you have to live in a hybrid mode. You take what you can, and you run away when you can, and do what you have to do on the side. So it's kind of difficult to balance it out. But a lot of people, sometimes they just don't have the research part, or they're not really looking into it, and they don't want to believe. That's the other part, right? It's simpler, right? I think I'm good. And
you're right.
It's a lot simpler, to just follow and not do anything about it. It's a topic that comes all the time in different discussions. Is, do you want to know? And if you know, what are you going to do about it? Do you want to take action, or are you just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with it. I'm good this way. And it is a choice at the end of the day. People have that. That's a selection. Now, again, you're referring to the U.S. more. But believe it or not, this is not just us. Everybody has the same problem. I think this dilemma is a concept across the board, whether in Canada, Europe. It's the same function. It's the same almost template that is duplicated, in every one of those. And it is the same. You think, to your point, I mean, I had a guest, and I love what he said. It's not healthcare we have, is sick care. You really have to be sick, to get it. You're not a preventative mode. Although there are movements about preventative discussions, and you do your annual checkups and things like that. Try to avoid medication if you don't have to take it. I mean, don't get me wrong, some medications, they do, to your point, camouflage the symptoms, maybe even do some tricks better and things like that. But at the end of the day, nothing beats natural. Nature takes care of its own. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, nature was designed to actually, we're not supposed to take anything that is not natural, and the minute we started doing these things, to your point, industries, started, and capitalism, got into it, and it's all about the money, how cheap you can get it, and how much more you can get, to your point, shelf life and all those things, additives and all the stuff that can preservatives, all these things are good for money, but they're not good for the health. But they do drive industries, to your point. The pharma industry is great. The healthcare industry is great. The hospitals, the medicine, all the stuff kind of feeds through it. And it's just a big circle. So your book is going to be a fire book. It's going to be, an interesting, topic of discussion out there. So, first of all, congratulations and good luck with the whole, you're probably going to get some good and bad critics out there, and a lot of, push and pull, but listen, at the end of the day, you know it, you've been there, and really, again, for our audiences, it doesn't matter what you think, your opinion is yours, but understand something: you have a choice to make. You have options. Whatever you want to do, you want to eat from the farm, you can do that. You want to eat from the shelf, you can do that. You want to eat, natural, you can seek things. I've had people that actually grow their own foods at home. I even asked the question, how can you do it? And they give you explanation how you can do it, in a small apartment. You can still make some food, available to you. So, but is that the majority? Probably not. But the majority has access to companies that may be different. In the case of yours, it's Nature's Warehouse. You do that. Now, let's talk about what makes you different. I know you have, this mentality of like, you want natural stuff and good stuff for people. And I'm looking actually at your site right now on this side, and I'm looking at all the wellness, general health, women's health, men's health, vitamins, immune boosters, probiotics, digestion. I mean, you got food and grocery stuff, household. I mean, you got so many things going on in there. Personal care. I love it. So basically, it's a full, supermarket. That gives you everything that you need. And I'm assuming the base of it is a healthier base, right? It's a more natural base. So let's guide us through that.
Yeah. Can I just go back to just take a step back to you hit on something that I wanted to, because it'll take me to our website.
Go for it, man.
I have a 3-step thing. You talked about growing food in the apartments and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
I have a 3-step that I encourage. I like to make things simple, because eating healthy and living healthy is not complicated. It's really not. if you care, it comes naturally, right?
Mm.
So just like you said, if you live on the 13th floor of a high riser in downtown, it's going to be a little harder to have fresh tomatoes, right? So that's okay. Maybe you can grow just tomatoes or something like that. But that is my number one encouragement, is that people grow their own. That's the only way you're going to have, no, I shouldn't say, let me rephrase that. It is the best way to guarantee you know your food. But there's a lot of, like, there's people out there growing stuff that's no healthier than stuff they're selling in the store. I mean, they're using GMO seeds. They're using these heavy toxin sprays. So that's not 100% answer, but that is the best way to make sure that what you matters to you in your food you have. But most people can't do that. So the step number 2, this is where I like to spend some time with people, is to, I don't care where you live, and I've been to Toronto. I just got back from California. You can almost anywhere in America, Canada, drive within an hour and be in the country. And around these cities, there are people right now, especially since COVID, that are all of a sudden moving out, and they have this idea that they're going to be homesteaders. They're moving out and they're going to have a homestead. They're raising wares exactly like what you want, right? You just got to connect with them, okay? And the easiest way to connect with these type of people is local farmers markets. They're all bringing their stuff into these farmers markets. So if somebody's sitting there, let's say you're growing tomatoes, and I like to make this stuff. You're growing tomatoes on your back deck. That's all you can do. You want to have some fresh produce. You know, you go to the farmer's market on a Saturday, and it takes time. But then again, we're talking our health, so it's worth the time. We go to the farmer's market. We see somebody with a booth, and they've got some other produce. You know, maybe you're looking for lettuce or chard or cabbage or something like that, right? If you start talking to them, you'll probably make a connection. Remember that they live in a different world than you. They live out in the country, and they have all their friends have little farms that are doing the same thing as them. Mm-hmm. So they might not have beef, but they know somebody that's got beef that's really hurting to try to figure out how to make a living off of their farm. And there's a lot of people like that. And they don't know. I always tell a joke when I'm dealing with farmers. I deal with a lot of farmers. Farmers are farmers because they like animals. They don't like people a lot of times, right? and so they don't know how to communicate. They're not good marketers, a lot of them. If they are, they probably blow their farm up, and some do. But there's a lot that are out there, and you can connect with them. You sometimes got to tell them what you're going to pay for it because they don't know how to chop them. But you start making connections, all of a sudden you're going out and you're getting fresh milk or getting fresh beef or buying it direct, and you can know your source, okay? And Nature's Warehouse, that's what we do for people if you don't have the time to do all that stuff. Now, we don't have milk and cheese. We do have some of those things, but only in small areas right around our warehouses. So, what you're going to find on our website is not that stuff because we just can't ship it. Okay, you're gonna see on our website. You're gonna put in your zip code, and it's everything we can ship to your area. But know that the products that we sell on our website, my mom would take on diabetes. She'd take on. I've seen her take on cancer. Our herbalist, I've seen her take on urinary tract infections, kidney stones, gallbladder, charcoal baths, all this stuff. We have all the ingredients that there are people out there that are taking on these things naturally. And we don't make it our goal to have every product that a health food store would sell. We have the ones that people are actually using. We're getting reports back. We're connected to our consumers. We got herbalists that we work with. I got 20 girls in a call center every day answering calls of people that are scared. Like they my daughter has a urinary tract infection. I always like using urinary tract infections because it's a very simple thing to treat naturally. And most urinary tract infections are a reaction to an antibiotic that somebody took, or oftentimes are a reaction to antibiotics. And if you go to the doctor is going to prescribing another antibiotic for it, which is just, to me, like, that's cranberry juice, get the bio in your stomach working, get good bacteria flushing down through your, and you can reverse that so easy, right? I love that one. But that's what Nature's Warehouse is a connection for, and we mainly got the herbs and the supplements and healthy foods that you're just not going to be able to get at your grocery store, solid brands, that type of thing. But I just like to spend a lot of time, because I know, so a lot of our customers are organic farmers. So I talk to these people, and they always say to me, can you sell beef? Can you sell chickens? You'd be shocked how many calls I get. We just got our own milk. We're starting to make cheese. And I said, where do you live? Well, I live in, northern Illinois. Well, you're not that far from Chicago. There's a good market there. Yeah, but so they're looking to sell their wares, and you can make a connection. They're there.
Wow. Well, what? Thank you. Well, so there's a couple of things that come to mind. I mean, just for someone that's watching or listening right now,
yeah.
And I know you talked about like some of the responses, or at least the team that you have to answer questions. Mm-hmm. Someone like, well, is there a clinician, a dietitian, nutrition on staff that can give guidances? Because people are like, well, what do you know about it? What is your credential? People are big with those things these days, right? I mean, everybody wants the facts, right? So that's the first question. The other one is, and I'm sure you have a good answer for that, but the other one is, I love what you said about the ability and the availability around everyone. I think the problem, as I said earlier, it's the comfort zone and laziness. I mean, listen, I live in Jersey, and actually, as soon as the farms are open, I'm in there. I mean, I spend about 6 months worth of the year where I get good food that is natural, literally from the farm. For the most part, they're actually organic farms. Yeah. I don't think there's anything there, because I mean, the food tastes just different. I mean, anything you pick from there is just delicious, right? Compared to what you buy that is already frozen, or, to your point, is not as organic. And the other question is the cost. People say, well, it's a little costlier, it's more. When you actually compare it to when you go to one of those large, surfaces and supermarkets, I think the price is about the same. At least for me, I don't see a big difference. Maybe it's a few cents over, but with the inflation we have right now, everything looks the same. So that's the biggest, I think, issue that I find, that where people are not willing to do that. But here's the thing: there are solutions. You are a solution. I mean, really, you're available, but obviously you don't give the whole spread of everything that people can have, but you do have enough that can carry on, some good help.
If you live in central Pennsylvania, I've got everything. Like near if you were a little closer to Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, I've got it. I got a warehouse out there, and I could get you milk, cheese, and all that stuff. And we are working towards someday, hopefully in the next year or so, we're constantly trying to figure out new ways to ship all that stuff. But then again, it does get costly. And why I tell people to go to the farm is because that is the cheapest route. That is literally dollar to dollar. To get that quality to you, I have to buy it from a farm. Now, I can't get it much cheaper than you, and then mark it up and handle it, and pay everybody to handle it, and marketing cost and all the things, so, but I want to speak a little bit to your point on the value of the quality. You said that it's so much better when you buy local and stuff like that. So Aldi's, when I started telling the story, and it was about 5 years, I've been using the same story, and I need to go get my facts straight. But at that time, Aldi's had garlic, organic garlic, 59 cents a pound at that time. I think now it's like $1.19 a pound or something like that. That was pre-COVID. 59 cents a pound. I could not find a farmer, and I've stood on farmers' farms in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, all the way over to Illinois. Lots in Ohio, a lot of Amish, a lot of Mennonites, a lot of people that are 100-acre farms, 30 cows, small, keeping it tight, and not one would ever sell me organic garlic for under $5.99 a pound. I had one guy tell me I would if I could. I can't. He said, maybe if you would buy like 100 pounds at a time, I can get it down, $1. But even then, I'm not sure if I'm making any money at that. So how can Aldi's, and by the way, Aldi's garlic's from China. How can our Aldi's get certified organic garlic from China and sell it with all the markups and handling and shipping for 59 cents a pound? So this is the thing. Organic, and we're there. Or let's do the organic talk real quick. Organic is, the standards of organic are very, very good. That I believe in the standards of organic. If the product is the standards of organic, even, and I know that the organic label is a government, and I'm a little bit anti-government, all that stuff, but I can't knock them. It's a solid certification.
USDA.
Yeah.
Good enough.
But the chain of custody is only as good as the people, as honest as the people that are touching it.
Fair enough.
So the closer you can get to the source, the more you know about the source, the better you're going to do on your food. And obviously, stopping at Walmart's or running into Aldi's, while they're, you're still eating fresh, and it's better than a chicken nugget. You're running a risk.
Well, listen, I have to say, Daniel, the story about Aldi's. I mean, I remember Aldi's when I was in Niagara Falls, and they were big there up north, and they started.
They don't have them in Jersey?
No, they do now. They're all over the place. Okay. Yeah, but only recently they went organic, because before they were not organic. I think that
they had organic lines. They've always leaned a little bit that way, but they've really brought in a lot of organic lines just recently. Yes.
Yeah, they became more, and I think Little, which is a French, has come around as a core competition. Yeah. I mean, listen, the most organic store that I know that is more national is Whole Foods, right? I mean,
Whole Foods,
yeah, that's the biggest. That everybody kind of like, if you want the healthy, I mean, the price is definitely at least 1/3 higher, but you get what you pay for, basically.
Their standard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so and that's a great thing, but again, if you have the ability to go to a farm and get it to your point, that's the closest you can. But here's the thing: you just talked about, it is, you have to buy it also, and you have to package it and work it and so on and so forth. So the convenience is what people are paying for. That's all there is. Now, you have warehouses. So I'm assuming the way it works is that people go on the site, they order, from a local location based on their zip code, and they get, a package delivered. Is that how the formula works?
Yes. Yep.
So like Fresh Direct, is that the direct competition?
Yeah, that would be in our local delivery areas where we're hitting with our own vans. Yes, where your zip code, if you put your zip code in, the products you're seeing are coming by UPS or mail. You're not able to get anything fresh or raw from us. It's just herbs, dried herbs, and supplements. And we do a big business in alternative sugars.
Oh yeah,
we have an organic cane sugar, but we also have xylitol, erythritol, coconut sugar, monk fruit. All those, we buy those things bulk, bag them out, have really good prices on that stuff. Let's see what else. A lot of breakfast bars, organic ketchup, organic tomato paste, stuff like that. What we watch is, because there's more and more of that stuff showing up in stores, so we have to be very competitive to be able to ship it to you, because we're also watching prices too. There's no reason for us to be selling. We don't want to sell you something for twice the price you buy it at your local store. So we're trying to do good buys and make sure that we're getting stuff into your hands. We are now is a brand of supplements. You ever heard of it? Now Foods?
No.
Out of Chicago? Okay. Very large. They have 3 factories. I think they even have a factory in there are at least 2 in Illinois and 1 maybe up in Wisconsin. One of the top supplement brands, and price points is amazing. They have you can get vitamin C and pay $75 a bottle, or you can pay $10.99, or and their quality, we check qualities against dollars and try to make sure that you're getting the best bang, because our best customer is usually families. That's usually where we have the best communication, best response. They're calling in, talking to my girls. I just found out I'm pregnant, or I'm trying to get pregnant, or these type of things. And everybody's living on a budget nowadays, and it's tough, And the thing is you go into Whole Foods. Well, Whole Foods has a vitamin section, but there's a huge array of pricing. Like, does it really worth that much more to get a multivitamin for $70? Or I'll tell you one, some guy, a sales rep came in and he had a brain pill, and it was a good pill, had a lot of good supplements in it around the brain and everything. It was like $86 retail for that. And we're like, that's amazing. That's a great product. It's really close to our Life Seasons product, which is a brand that we have tremendous success with. It just so many testimonies coming back from our customers. They had the same thing for about $32. Like, what's the difference? He had a great label. It was a great product. And he was going after a different, but we do quality and make sure that it fits your lifestyle. Make sure, and that's why you can talk to our girls and find out exactly what you're going for, what you're looking for, and we're going to help you make a decision on your health and putting your health back in your hands.
Well, Daniel, thank you for bringing that up, because you're right. I mean, again, companies are, companies. I mean, there's a profit that you create a company to make a profit, which is okay. But there's markups, right? I mean, and those margins can vary from one. I mean, listen, you talked about the pharma, but let's talk about just that for a second. You can buy the same medicine in generic versus brand, and the markup in the generic is humongous. I mean, literally, it can cost $2 and you can be sold anywhere up, north, to $100 if you wanted, right? Meanwhile, the brand is the brand, and you buy it, for what it's worth, and it's usually high at the start point, and it goes lesser and lesser. But it's the same concept in a lot of things. Some industries that just have a huge markup and margin profit, that you can really get. And again, a lot of these vitamins and stuff, again, not not FDA type of, stuff. So it's not really, so people can claim and do different things. And you read it, this has not been, proven by the nutrition facts, whatever, not been proven by FDA, some sort of a disclaimer usually on those things. And that's what's happening, right? But the idea is, you're right. I mean, you compare the products, the ingredients are very similar, and but that's the thing here. This is Nature's, warehouse. It's your brand. And what you're doing is you're trying to bring the value with the best, highest quality that you can give, and still make a living, still make a profit. That's the other thing. I think what we've gotten too greedy across our lives these days. It doesn't matter where we are. Everybody wants to make the most profit of everything, regardless. And I think that's where the inflation is, and that's where everything else is going crazy, because everybody wants, like, oh, there's a demand. Let's just push up the price. It's all good. Let's make it. Let's blame it on COVID, whatever, So, and that's really the reality of things when you think about it deeper, right? And this kind of concept about food, understanding it is, people are not as. That's why we do these shows. I mean, that's why we have a whole Nutritious, channel. Is that we just want to bring people closer to the facts and stuff. Now, we're not giving advice. People do your own research. Always do your own due diligence. Because you owe it to yourself. I mean, what I eat is on me. And that bothers. And you're right. You could do it. Everybody can do it and be healthy if they wanted to, but it takes some work. It's like, if you want to get healthy, you got to work out. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to also observe what you're going to eat, your ingredients. You mentioned something earlier about shelf life, right? I mean, you do have to have some sort of shelf life for all your products, but if you are eating clean, good, natural stuff, there's a good chance you're not going to keep it for 2 years or 3 years and put it in the storage room. It's going to be a week, 2 weeks tops, and that's it. You got to consume it right away while it's fresh. That's the old traditional way. I mean, you literally picked up your stuff for the day and you ate it, and that was it. The next day is a new day. You pick up a new stuff. We don't do that now because it's, people live far. You got to put it on the on the freezer somewhere, and you just leave it for 2 months, right?
It does take more work to eat healthy. It does. Yeah.
It is. So Daniel, you mentioned, the concept where you identify what people's needs are, and then you give them the products that match their needs. So how does that process work?
Can I, Jeff, I'll get right in that. Can I just say something about, you're talking about shelf life? So I had a friend, actually he's an herbalist. He works for me. But before he worked for me, he used to have these like conferences at his house where he would just get invite a bunch of people and bring in because he just loves health and studied health and all the, he wanted to be an herbalist, but he got started late in life but that's where his passion. And early in his doing this, they had bought for one of their conferences, they had bought a McDonald's burger and brought it in. And for 7 years, he brought the same burger back to every conference. The same McDonald's
Same burger.
Yeah, the meat was still there. The lettuce kind of disappeared over time. The bread withered up, grew a little mold on one edge, but then it just dried. It was literally, you could make out it was still the McDonald's burger. The ketchup was still red. It was unbelievable.
7 years. Oh,
7 years.
Well, now you can save that just in case doomsday is here and we have some.
I don't know if there's any nutritional value in all that, but
well, it's amazing. Like, it's funny because this is something I had a discussion with my wife, just recently, and we were talking about, with the war and everything,
Sure.
and people are like, you can see that on social media. People are like re-hoarding, some shelf stuff, and you get a lot of these talks, get a lot of cans and things like that. Yeah, I mean, you can get those cans, but how healthy is that going to be for you?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're going to get them, I mean, eat from the cans, you're only going to eat for some few months or a few weeks, and then something's going to give in your body. It's not going to be healthy, right? I mean, because high sodium, I mean, to at least, I mean, we know like you cure a lot of things traditionally by salt, I mean, the what do you call it? Dry meats and things like that.
Rice beans.
Yeah.
Rice, beans. I actually do buckets for myself. Like I put a rice, beans, oatmeal, and corn, whole corn.
There you go.
Those, and you can pretty much live off that. If you had some seeds, so you can plant and keep those in those buckets, that's the path right there.
Right, but that's preserved naturally with salt and you seal it airtight and that's it.
Yep.
But when you're looking at canned food and whatever, I mean that is a whole different. Yeah, it might make you survive for a couple of months, healthy, but then I don't know about that. Again, I'm not saying survivals are up to people's decision. And yes, I mean when you decide to survive, you're going to do whatever it takes. I mean you can hunt. But
anybody that's putting away jars of anything is smart because the jar will keep you. You know what I mean? Like you're 100% right. But when it does hit the fan, it won't last long.
well, we hope none of that stuff happens. No bad things happen. But stuff happens. Yeah, I'm not talking about doomsday, events, but it can happen. Anyway, people can have some of these things, and I mean, you see like a lot of these sci-fi movies. You get a bad. Yeah.
Anybody that is like thinking like we're thinking, who feels responsible for their own health, right? Your mind automatically starts going to the future and prepping for it. Like that's just how. That's just because you're all of a sudden responsible. You're not trusting the government. You're not trusting the hospital. You're not trusting. You might use the government. You might use the hospital. You might use all those things, but you're responsible for you. And suddenly you're like, I need to get 50 pounds of beans and put them in some Ziplocs and get them in buckets and start rotating that. It's just how your mind works. It's.
Well, you mentioned rice. I mean, that thing, if you did it right, 25 years easy on a bucket. And they have buckets that are special for those things.
Yeah, I actually am shooting a YouTube video that we're going to put up on YouTube on how to build your own bucket off of just rice, beans, corn, and you can literally do a bucket that'll last a family for close to a month. For I think, what did we figure? I don't have I wasn't planning on going down this path, but it's it's like $57. It's not a lot of money. There's a few small things you got to make sure you do. You don't want to have it. God forbid something happen and find out everything's spoiled. So there's a few very important things you do, but it's really simple to do and it's cheap.
Listen, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being. Listen, prepare and don't worry about it. If nothing happens, nothing happens. You can always eat it, right? But every now and then you just reset, your prep and then just do it. But it's just what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's funny because I know this is not really the core discussion, but since the war began, with Ukraine and Russia, a lot of talk shows, a lot of posts and things like that about nuclear. It's like back in the the Cold War, right? You have all these discussions, and it's talking about what you need to do, how to eat, and stuff like that. At the end of the day, if that ever happens, none of the stuff that we think. I mean, the panic that will take place, it's not even going to be funny, right? I mean, we don't even want to think about it. But only the people that are prepped correctly and understand how it is, and it's not being dumb. It's just being prepped, and ready for whatever reason. You travel, you get ready, right? You're going to work, you get ready. So it's the same concept. and nothing happens, you're cool. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You're not wasting food because at the end of the day, like you can always use it.
The best day is the day you never need it.
That's exactly right, right? So that's the best scenario, right? But it's amazing, but it is reality. And food is we need food. I mean, it's one of the elements of life. I mean, food, shelter, it's those things you cannot live without, right? So you need to have at least a good resource and a good source of the good stuff. And that's the reason I mentioned that is because God forbid there is even climate change or there's some stuff you're not going to be able to grow certain things, whatever. You might have, which movie was that? Interstellar, whatever, with the it was like about they run out of food on Earth, and there's the corns, and even the corn was not good, and they had to go to find another planet, whatever. I mean, it's totally sci-fi. Yeah. But the concept, imagine that scenario, right? If you don't know, I mean, I think the farmers are the only ones that can survive in that scenario because they know how to do it. The rest of us will probably not going to be doing a good job, and that's the part that understanding these things. It is, listen, we had a pandemic. Nobody knew that we're going to have a pandemic. Well, we did, or maybe somebody did. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go there, but the idea is that it happened, right? There were a lot of, I guess, movies and alluding to something of that nature to happen, and it did happen. So I don't fascinate anything, over reality. Things can happen no matter what they are. So anyway,
the skills. I think skills are very important, and also back to what I said. The closer connected you are to the source of your food. Remember we're talking, like if you know a farmer, that's going to come really, really handy when something, like if you know where to go, where the food is, where you know how to handle buying a little bit larger quantity, maybe know how to preserve something, freeze, can, some of those things, which have a tendency to be required if you're buying direct, because it's not going to come with all the preservatives and all those type of things. We talked about that. So you start automatically building skills that are going to help you at a time like that too. I think it's great.
No, well, thank you then. So question, your food. I mean, since we're talking about the live, I mean, what is your typical, if someone orders the food, how long are they good for? Will they keep their true, values and everything? Or, I mean, I'm sure there's an expiration to whatever products.
I mean, dry beans will last, it depends how you preserve them. Keep them in dry space, rice. One thing I would say is we don't sell white rice. We only sell brown rice. Brown rice is much more nutritious. It's got bran. It's got life. The other one's breached out. Actually, it's very, very it's not terrible for you, but it just does not have the nutrition in it. But if I'm prepping, that's the only time I'll buy white rice, because it does have the germ bleached out of it and it lasts much longer. So if I'm filling my buckets, that's one thing. Other than that, rice and the beans, the corn meal, we sell corn meal. We don't sell whole corn. You can actually buy cow corn for prepping. It's actually the best because that's what cornmeal is made out of. So, and cornmeal has so many, and you can still make hominy, and there's other things you can do, but we don't sell the cow corn. You'd want to get that at a feed mill if you're prepping.
Those were like, again, doomsday concepts here,
yeah.
but in general,
so this is how we are. So Nature's Warehouse teaches health, and we do that by a catalog. We put out a catalog 3 times a year. We put a lot of energy into it. I have a team of 3 almost working on this catalog all the time, collecting articles. You will have articles in there for everything that you could be a doctor, your own doctor. That's what we have. We have she's a retired herbalist, formulator, midwife. She had 11 kids of her own. She's raised, her whole house was always, to this day, is still full of kids, who writes for us. She's got a book, Be Your Own Doctor. That's in our catalog. You can find it on our website. And so we have the products that she used, the products my mom used. And then we do have an herbalist that works for us. We have he's only in on Fridays, but you can take emergency calls all the time, but he comes in on Fridays and we schedule him full day for the tougher calls. We have a family herbalist that's there every day. She's available from 7 till 7, and she can do almost all the calls. And if she can't answer something, she can get it through. And like, we are not doctors. We are not, we said all the things, but if we can help you, give you the information of what other people are doing in success, that's how I like to put it. What other people are doing successfully to control their health. And what sets us apart is 50 years of living it. My mom, who sets the standard, myself, who grew up this way, I could literally say I'm certified organic, although I strayed in my 20s. I ate a little bit like your son. I went through my time, but my health dropped, and I came back on my own. My mom didn't, but because I had been raised that way, like we ate that way, always were on diets. Mom was trying out this, trying out that. We went through a whole year one time when I was like 11 or 12, where we didn't eat any starches with proteins. So that meant if you were going to eat, we would get up in the morning and have eggs and fruit. And then for lunch, if it was a starch meal, you'd have potatoes and a salad. And then for dinner, you'd have meat and a salad. Because she was trying out this diet to see how our health did. Like, that's just how we live. That's our lives, right? So that's what sets us apart. So our girl, you call in, you say, and I read an article that this bleached sugar is bad for me. It's sucking the vitamins out of it because I read it in your catalog or I read it on your blogs. We can put a lot of them on blogs. Not all the articles we print in our catalog can go on blog. You've got to get our catalog. Our catalog has a lot more depth in it than our blog, because some things that you just got to be careful online putting them up there. But I read this article, and I want to. I've been feeling like I got colds all the time. My allergies been bothering me. Do you have anything for that? We got products for that. Then you say you want to switch out. We got alternative sugars. Well, how do I use it in recipes? We got girls that can help you with that. That's what we do. We just help people walk them towards health. We're there for them.
So Daniel, it's amazing because you have these experts. Now, to your point, they're not doctors, but they're specialists in the field of herbs and natural stuff. By the way, that is an ancient art. I mean, that is the original science. I mean, back in the days, that's how it was.
Real science has continued. Now foods, life seasons, there's all these supplement companies. You go in and look at all the different companies. These people they have real scientists working for them, nutritionists working, like real science has continued. Money and power hijacked pharmaceuticals. And everything that pharmaceuticals are selling is derived from grounded oils, and now they're literally we touched on the vaccine a little bit before, but so we have GMOs, which is they're engineering seeds now and doing all that stuff. But now I just wrote an article. You go on our website down at the bottom. They're putting vaccines in food now.
That's new.
So if you went through the whole, you were like, listen, I don't need that. My immune system can handle COVID and all that stuff, and made it through. You could next year be having that in your potatoes. The same vaccine they're putting in people's arms. Spike proteins, mRNA vaccines. And I have a diagram of how they're doing it on that one of my recent blog posts there.
That's scary, man. Well, I can tell you, it's going to be a tough one. That's a tough pill to swallow, but hey, I mean, if that even gets there, it's going to be chaotic. And wow, I don't want to even imagine it, but I wouldn't pass it past, I wouldn't put it past, what we've been through. So it is reality, and it is shocking, and that's why you got to do your own thing. But so now you are located nationally or only specific?
We ship nationwide. We ship nationwide out of our Central Ohio warehouse. Pretty much anywhere in the nation, you'll get a package from us. From Middle East Jersey, you'll have it within 3 days. Package from us 3 days. Out to California, might be 4.5 right in there. But we're 3 days. We're shipped nationwide, and everything you're finding on the website is there. You have a supplement or something that you depend on, you're looking for, or an herb you heard about for something and you don't see it on our website. Get on the phone, get with one of our girls. We can get it for you. Or it probably is in one of our other products. A lot of times people hear about products that are multi-level, like Shackley or one of those. And we have the exact same herbs in just a different brand. So and usually a lot better pricing too.
Well, it's your own label, but pretty much. But the products are, I mean, the ingredients are natural, and they're what they are. Now, are they all pure products, or they have like different ingredients, like mixtures?
Sure.
Meaning, like, I mean, for example, for a specific herb, it will be just that herb in the pill, or it will be like maybe you can get a cocktail type of thing.
No, they're always herbs and minerals. Everything we've got is herbs and minerals. Yep.
Okay.
That's well, I guess we got colostrum. Colostrum is derived from the first from cow's milk, the first milking when the cow has a calf. There's a whole bunch of the nutrition that's in that milk to make that calf live. They dry that, make that into capsules. So that's a big. But all our stuff is like that type of thing. Like it's real natural. We don't have no chemicals. So our standard. So my mom is extreme. She's extreme. like she eats vegetarian is not even raw is not even like sprouted raw is like 90% of her diet. She's very extreme. She looks 40 and she's pushing 70. She just that's her life. We do not have one product on our website or in our catalog that she has not gave us a thumbs up on. And some of them I had to argue for a while. I'm like, Mom, people need this. Yeah, but it's got, dioxide 6 in the gel cap. And I'm like, Mom, that's not, I know, but it's not bad, but it might not help. And I'm like, Mom, they gotta have to hold the stuff together. So it's up to she's so extreme. Everything we have is the most extremely healthy thing you're gonna find.
And it is approved by Mom, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just I just got Mom's thumbprint on it.
You gotta get through that for the actual inspector.
And I have three. I have a team of 3 that are literally. I have them working with Mom, watching how she's doing it because I'm scared of the day that Mom's not here because I want to make sure I have that the standard and the level that we have. The people have looked to us for 30 years, and I wish you could see like the testimonies we get, the letters we get, and you'll see them underneath our products. We got to be careful of everything we put online and all that stuff again. But you would be shocked. The girls on the phone tell me all the time, people were down and out, not sure what to do, going to the doctors, wasn't working, didn't know if they should go. They called and it worked. It worked. They're healthy. They're feeling better. They got more energy. They're not tired all the time. Finally sleeping. All these type of things, and you talk a lot about exercise and all that stuff. It's it's a full package. We got articles and all that stuff in there. You can't do one, but our girls will talk with you on all those things.
Well, I mean, some people like supplements for workout, before, after, all these things. Now I know you and we had a brief discussion about some of your top sellers, or some of the things that move the best. And I think you mentioned something about perinatal products or vitamins or minerals or.
So our number one seller is a prenatal. It actually happens to be the brand that my brother makes. So he took that. I don't make any products. All mine I'm sourcing from somebody else. That actually gives me freedom. We on purpose do not make any products because maybe I might not make it as good as somebody else, and then I'd still want to sell my product. And it gives me free to find the best products out there and source them and sell them to my customer. It's a great product. It is, as far as anything out there, there's nothing close on the prenatal scales. If you're pregnant, you got to have it. I'd say order 3. If you find out you're pregnant, order 3 months at a time and always stay a month or 2 ahead because he has a hard time keeping it in stock. And when you're pregnant, you don't want to run out of it for your prenatal.
What's the name?
Mama Bear Prenatal.
Okay.
Mama Bear Prenatal. It's pink. You can just search Mama Bear in there. Then you'll see the whole Mama Bear line comes up, and it's their prenatal. They have one that has magnesium added to it. That's good too, but I prefer just the regular prenatal.
It's important.
Then right now, I'm going to hop right over to our website. Right now, scrolling on the top, we got the rail pads. By the way, feminine products, soaps, all those type of things, your body assimilates chemicals and toxins just like eating it. So
scary.
One of our top sellers is our female products. We have a really, really good one. and it's very affordable. It's not like seventh generation or something like that. That you're like, geez, it's good, but it's so expensive. This is right in the price you're gonna be paying at the store, and it's much better. Shampoos, deodorants, all those things have aluminum. Ours don't have any of them. We, once again, mom's proof, mom's thumbprint on it, and they're number one. And for the pricing, our prices are really good too. And then we have we have a whole line for moms, and I'm looking for. Okay, here it is. If you scroll across the top, you're going to see the Buckleberry Zeolite. That is right now. In a year ago, that wasn't even a year and a half ago. That wasn't even a product that we were selling, or people were even asking for. That is totally designed around getting the toxins left over in your body from COVID or the vaccine, the side stuff out of your system, flushing it out. It encapsulates it. The goal is that it encapsulates it and flushes it out through your urine and through your waste. That's what that's designed around. And more recently, people have been some of these toxins. I don't know if you heard about that. Some of these rail car derailments and some of these fires that are going on.
No.
Huh?
I heard some, but I mean, I'm not clear about.
Okay, well, there was a big one 50 miles from my house. There's been a lot of them in the central states, like Southern Ohio, and a lot of the toxins that people have been calling up. Is there anything? I'm worried about the air I breathe, and I'm worried about our water.
Oh, yeah.
This is it. This is the product. It removes toxins. It was designed around COVID vaccine. That's what it was designed around, was to get the toxins left over from that. But it's working the same for the other. And that's what's flying off the shelf right now. Followed by greens.
What is the name again?
Zeolite. It's the Buckleberry Zeolite. If you're on the top of our site and scroll across, keep scrolling that scrolling thing. You'll see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to, kind of seek the different products. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here.
Zeolite, and then our daily greens. We have 3 different flavors. They're great tasting, all freeze dried. Fresh fruits and vegetables. If you're not getting enough fresh and raw, and if you are flushing, if you're worried about toxins, if you've been around, like you live in the city, or if you've been around one of these spills or something like that, you need to be flushing, getting enough chlorophyll, lots of water, obviously, lots of chlorophyll, and that's what the greens is all about. Tons of chlorophyll to keep it flushing.
I love it. I mean, it's just quite a bit of everything you have here. I mean, I could share the actual site here, but it's just too many, cool things. I mean, you had everything from detergents to cold and flu and immune health, personal care, children. I mean, you name it, you have it, and it's all natural. So I like that. There's a free catalog that people can get as well, right?
Yep. So go down, follow my blog. And or fill out and we'll send you the catalog. It's free. It's super educational. Then follow me on Twitter. I tell everybody, if you're on Twitter, I'm just in the last 2 years, I've gotten super active on Twitter, and like some of this vaccine stuff, some of the, like when I found out about the vaccines in the food, boy, I was like all over that, and I'm like firing stuff off. Is this real? And I'm getting feedback, and just something recently on Twitter I've been sharing, and I learned about it on Twitter. I don't want to say it, so I'm going to read it right off of here, because suddenly been showing up in food, brands that you've been eating and using for quite a while, such as Hellmann's mayonnaise and Nestle's creamers. They're suddenly putting a new label on that says, I'm going to read it right off the thing, ingredients derived from a bioengineered source. Have you seen this yet?
No, bioengineered, huh? Okay, cool. All right.
And then what's crazy about it, everybody's like, what happened? What are they putting? Everybody's like freaking out. What are they putting in my Hellmann's mayonnaise now, right? And here's the thing, nothing different. GMO board pushed legislation through that they have to start putting that on, which is a win for the GMO board. Now they have to start, but it's the exact same. You've been eating the GMO soybeans all this time from engineered, that they knew it was engineered, that it was affecting you and all this type of stuff. And they were fine with it. And the GMO board pushed it through legislation and got it through. And it's a win for us. The negative is, so I was telling everybody, chill. It's the same food. If you're happy with GMOs, then, but with the negative with that is now that they're putting that stamp on there, some of the new stuff that they're doing that they're doing the studies on as far as the vaccines and food and some of this other engineering that putting stuff into the proteins, and they're going to be able to slide that out under the same thing. So if it says bioengineered, if they get people comfortable with that, they're going to be able to slide a bunch of other stuff in there too. So that is something that I'm watching real close, trying to let people know what's going in there, and just help people when they're at the grocery store. It's not, we all stop on the way home to grab something to help you make that choice.
Wow.
One other thing I want to share with your customers real quick.
Go ahead.
Or your listeners, I should say, that I've been telling my customers and everything. There's an app called Yuka. Have you ever heard of Yuka?
Nope.
There's an app you can download on your phone, and I'm not getting paid for this. I use it myself. If I'm out and about, scan a barcode, and it'll give you the level of toxins in your food that you're getting something on the shelf.
Well, hold on, time. Let's stay that nice and slow. What was it called again?
Yuka.
Yuka, just like Yuka, like
Yuka.
YUK. Ooh, okay.
I get excited when I get going. But it's a great app.
I like it. I mean, it's I thought it was something different, but it's really what it is. And wow, cool. I mean, the toxins you're eating. I mean, how legit is it? I mean, is it legit?
I've been having, yeah. And I learned about it through, I only learned about it a couple months ago. I think it's fairly new. And one of my girls that's on my team for reviewing products and everything, I asked her about it. And her response was, yeah, I downloaded it. It seemed good, legit, but I already know everything it was saying. Like, she's advanced on it. So she's like, I didn't use it that much, but it was tight. She said, yeah, it worked.
No, but I mean, so it's consistent. Whatever they say is actually what it is.
100%.
Wow. All right. Well, listen, folks, you got it. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Scan. I mean, with your phone, just check. If it gives you green, you're good. If it gives you red, it's not the cool thing. I mean, the sad part is that it's still out there. And only when it makes enough noise where people are going to start like shying away from some products, where the products will step back and say, okay, we got to give an alternative. Stuff. I mean, you may save $1 here, there. Again, like, I cannot get into the mind of why would you do such a thing and really hurt. But at the end of the day, I care about me, my funds, my margins, my profits today. I don't care about, what happens in 50 years from now. And that's the problem, that some people are just, many people are suffering today for people that did bad things, 2 or 3 decades, 4 decades ago. Right. Sure. And that's continue. And that's the sad part about life. But food is essential, and unfortunately, it is a problem right now because of you don't trust what you get in, and you're getting stuff, and you're getting sick. I mean, everybody's questioning like, why am I getting sick? I'm weak. I got all these, bloating, all the stress, and multiple things. All these agents, the toxins are in the body. Your liver is not functioning well. It's working multiple, like triple time, like expedited work to get those toxins. Not able to do it. And to your point, the air is polluted. Everything around that is just not as healthy and natural. I mean, believe it or not, one thing that happened in the pandemic is that even the ozone layer got quiet, because nobody was in the streets. We had less pollution around the world. It changed a little bit the world, but not enough. I mean, unfortunately, so. But hey, well, listen, Danny. I mean, we've exceeded our time here, and we've covered a lot of grounds. And I appreciate. I mean, you're pretty straightforward about your feelings about things. And again, for our audiences, listen, Daniel is expressing Daniel, and I can tell you, he's not forcing anyone to search whatever, but you owe it to yourself. You got to do your own work and see what's good for you, and got to compare. That's it. I mean, you have choices. That's all you got to worry about, right? Hopefully you'll make the right decision to pick the right foods and the right ingredients.
You worded this so well. I'm learning from you. You word it so well.
It's reality, right? I mean, we don't have to, everybody's grown up, to understand that, it's your health. If you care, you said it. If your health is the most important thing to you, then nobody else is going to do it but you. Do it for you and your family, or you're going to wind up, suffering longer and whatever it takes, because it's not fun when you're not healthy. I mean, you get a little bit of headache, it's bad. You get a little bloating, it's bad. So, and that's just the minor stuff. You get something serious, that's totally bad. And yeah, there's no, and so herbal, holistic, natural, organic, those are key terms that, that's the movement of people that are willing and trying to be healthier. And I think that should be in everybody's mouth and brains. But, again, we're just doing, the simple, sharing information here, and you guys can do the rest. So then any last, words of wisdom to our audiences?
No, take the time to read and to learn, and you start paying attention. You start thinking that way. You'll start responding, and it'll come naturally.
All right.
Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter or blog. DJ Loudon's at DJ Loudon.
So that is you.
Yeah.
So again, that's the thing. Like, I thought it was like, somebody else, but so no. I did see that. I was like, okay, yeah. All right, good. So now you have it. I mean, you can't go wrong with that one. DJ Loudon, man. The one and the only. All right. Well, so listen, DJ Loudon, Daniel, thank you so much for being with us on the show and for sharing your value, your story, your work, and your the company. I mean, definitely. I mean, I was browsing on, when you're talking throughout the site and seeing, all the stuff. I mean, you have everything that people usually would want. And I actually looked at the prices. They're not, they're very competitive to any other, market, place that you can shop from. It's not like, scary stuff. It's actually very good. And if you can get the quality that you actually have, I think it's worth it. And you're making it very easy because you deliver to people. So
yeah,
thank you. All right. Well, so folks, there you have it. We had a nice little diet, nutrition, some facts, some fun facts, I would say, and, it is what it is. But do check out Nature's Warehouse and, what's available to you. If you choose that route, and, you definitely have a good place to go and get your natural stuff. That being said, I'm Eric H. We'll be talking soon. New day, new show, new topic, new guest. Bye for now.